How are you guys doing?
I've missed
Oh my God.
It's like seeing you guys. I'm just like, I truly seeing Adrian pop in and then pop right back out. I was like, no.
Yeah, I
miss seeing your guys' faces.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Listen, like, this is strange because usually we meet people online first and then here. And, like, I know we had that brief interaction where we all kind of jumped in a call and hung out. But, like...
Sort of. It was more like, I'm here. You will see my face at this house that we will supposedly be staying at. Yeah.
We are not catfishing you. We are real people. But yeah, getting there was pretty good. And then, so like, this feels like we're doing the opposite now, where like we met in person, we hung out, we had a good time. And now
I feel like you guys are going to have more and more of those interactions.
We'll see.
In fact, I'm 100% sure that is the case. Because you guys came to GenCon and you guys like killed it at GenCon. Like you networked up the wazoo with so many people and you got to see so many people in person.
Yeah.
And so now like you just need to have all those people that you met as guests. And there you go.
That's
Hi,
the plan,
welcome back to
like,
another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name is Adrian and I'm Alex.
And I'm Alex.
We're learning how to we're learning how to take compliments today.
Oh, no. You guys are great.
Yeah. I mean, I know we're great because we keep getting these kind of responses from people. And Alex needs to just accept it in a way that's not so like, you're shattering my world and getting read.
This too. Listen, I texted Shay today because she texted me
Shay's
and checked in with me. And I was like, you know what? It's Shay, my therapist. And I was like, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not fine.
What did you tell her I'm fine?
I didn't tell her I was fine.
That's like...
But, like, I was like...
I feel like that's like a coded... Like, anytime a therapist hears I'm fine, they automatically do not believe that person.
No, and that's totally fair. And she did not. So she did as good a therapists do and dug a little deeper. And I actually had a full come apart last night about some just bullshit. And I was like, hey, this is what happened. And she goes, oh, those are a lot of feelings. Do you want to talk about them? And I have not responded today. What am I supposed to do it, right? We go from school to here to sleep.
But anyway, you guys, how are you guys doing?
Oh.
School year is coming off to a start pretty strong. I keep being given projects, and I don't have the no in me yet to say that I cannot do with anything. So I got to go to my first Cub Scout meeting of the year and find out the new curriculum. I am applying for a theater grant. I am applying for art or for a gardening funding. It's wild.
That's awesome.
And then, the podcast, which is a thing. They're all things.
We had a ridiculously packed week this last week. We had 4 recordings out of the 7 days that week.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This week we have 2.
Yeah, it's a lot for me to get a backlog. And then also to potentially down the road if we have to take some time off and stuff like that. That way things still keep coming out.
That's how I feel about Shadows, actually, right now. Like, I have a ridiculous backlog. I have almost, 7 episodes worth of backlog that because I'm currently in the process. The reason that I haven't published anything for Shadows, anything new, is because I want to work directly with a certain artist. And so I'm saving up for fully getting character art, getting all of this stuff, like getting an intro finished, because I really want all of the new episodes to be I want it to be sort of very different than any of the stuff that's come before, because the cast that I have right now, Jess being one of them, is good. We're good. We actually, Boss Jellybean will be joining us in 2 hours. So yeah, they will be joining us as our newest cast member.
Nice.
I'm really excited. I'm actually super excited because I've gotten to work with them so much in the last year. Whether it's stuff with Candela Obscura or they're actually going to be DM or GMing Salvage Union, which is coming up. It's this this game.
Mech? Is that a mech?
Yes, it is. It is. This is an amazing game. This is an amazing game. The people at Leyline Press. I'm not trying to give them a spot on your show.
Hey man, it happens. Just do it.
It is.
We'll reach out to them after.
They've created a truly awesome game based exclusively off of a D20 system. Like D20 is the only thing you roll in this game, and it is a lore light mech universe. And the art in it is so fucking good, and it's just, I love it. It's a lot of fun.
I like that it looks like a technical manual.
Yeah, like
that's exactly the aesthetic. That's the aesthetic for it. It's like it is a very technical manual looking game. It is inspired by some of your like favorite like tech mech heavy animes. It looks like something from like. Metal Gear Solid, like some of the like the walkthroughs for some of those games, like it would show you like the technical like.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're just not the audience, but that doesn't mean the listener's not the audience. Listen, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is truly of that sort of aesthetic, and I just am a big fan.
I've been trying my best to keep getting into new I almost said anime. TTRPGs.
Adrian, you do not need any more anime.
No, I do. I'm on Gurren Lagann right now, okay? Which is
wow. That's a classic.
Yeah, I haven't we did the first 2 episodes like a couple years ago and I was just like too much booba lady. And then I came back around. Sorry, that's...
You came back for the tatas?
Well, no, it wasn't for the tatas. It was just it kept coming up in conversation. They're like, Gurren Lagann's a classic. Gurren Lagann's a classic, and I'm like, fine, I'll go again. And still a little fan servicey there and here, but all in all, really interesting, good story. It fucking moves fast, and I was not ready for it.
There's 2 animes that I will recommend that I've been watching recently. I want to make sure I get these names right because I'm giving them out. The first one is Mobile Suit Gundam 00.
Okay.
They're 2 seasons of this Gundam show that I have watched it multiple times at this point, and I just keep enjoying it every single time every single additional time that I watch it. The story is great, the art is fantastic, the voice acting is stupendous. It is truly one of my favorite mech shows ever. Like one of my favorite. It's good. It's good. And then the other one. Is
Stop singing
Bungo Stray Dogs.
I'm sorry, what?
Bungo Stray Dogs.
Yeah,
I
Bungo
only
Stray
got through
Dogs.
1 season. I don't know why. The second season just didn't hit as well for me.
I am watching it, and I'm liking the art style, but also I am liking just, if you'll pardon it, just how gay this show is.
We shall pardon. Yes, okay.
Yeah,
continue.
this show is one of the most, I think, it's possible, I don't know the creators at all, but it is one of the most LGBTQ friendly vibe shows I think I've ever encountered. And it's an action detective investigative show, but with also like very heavily like sci-fi powers as well. Like although I have no idea where these people get their powers yet. I'm just like,
No,
you guys just have these really dope powers, and I have no idea why. So yeah, it's like one of the main characters is a dude who, his like special thing is he can turn off people's powers, but he has this obsession with, and I'm sorry listeners, but he has this obsession with suicide.
Yeah.
Like he's like obsessed with killing himself, and trying to find cool and inventive ways to do it. And I'm like, I really hope that this isn't like the theme of the show. Like, I hope this like I hope we figure this out. Let's figure this out. Let's figure out, maybe fix why this is the way you are, and and then see how your powers maybe are amplified in some way. It is a quirky show that is constantly making me chuckle. So
Get that man into some therapy, and Andy's all in.
Gosh, he'd run away from therapy for sure.
Yep.
Gosh. Do you feel like there's a connection within like things you watch to how you kind of portray it into your games, or like your next obsession with the game? So like you talked about Gundam, and then you have Salvage. What was the
Salvage Union?
Union. Thank you.
So the question is, like, do I see a connection with the things that I watch and like with the games that I run?
Yes.
Yes, I do, and it's interesting because I can actually draw this parallel with both Bungo Stray Dogs, just because we're talking anime. Both Bungo Stray Dogs and the Gundam show, and pretty much every single D&D show that I run, and it is the constant theme, and it's sort of a difference of degree. It's not always like as heavy, like heavily emphasized in terms of its theme, but the concept of found family, I think, is just like always present in everything, in every story that I'm running. Is that the family that is blood is never as powerful and never as strong as the family that is found. And I feel like that's something that I've just encountered in my own life as well. And so I sort of like bring that, but I also consume a lot of that sort of narrative in the stuff that I watch. Like with Gundam, it's about these, basically, like I always read them, or I always see them as like older than they are, but in the actual manga, it is like, no, these are a bunch of fucking teenagers.
Yeah.
But they're Gundam Meister pilots, and their whole goal is to band together to eliminate war. And how do they do that? They commit war crimes against everybody. It's a very, very gross generalization of the show, but it's sort of like they are at odds with each other initially, but then they sort of all come together and they form this incredibly powerful bond that takes them all the way through 2 seasons. And it's a good show, but it's also just like that concept is very strong. In Bungo Stray Dogs, it's about this one person who has no idea that they have powers, as is common with a lot of anime.
Yeah.
And then they meet this amazing group of people who all have powers and who are really accepting and sort of bring them in to their group. And then they become this incredible found family for this one person. And it is, yeah. So like, again, the concept of found family is very much present in everything that I run. In terms of how that translates into the games, with the home game that I run, just to give some context, all of the games that I run are taking place within this one world, the world of Odromia. All of them take place in or around the same time, so they're all sort of like tracking with each other, although sometimes they might go back or they might go forward in time because of a lot of Fae shenanigans.
A lot of bullshit.
Or they come in contact with a god who's just like, you know what, you would be better served to just be put here. So with the home game that I run, it is very much this story of a tiefling princess who finds out that, or a tiefling monk who finds out that she's actually the princess of the throne of Nessus, because her daddy is Asmodeus, and her mommy is Selune, the goddess of night and the moon. And they're and sort of the thing that she's constantly having to deal with is she's constantly trying to keep this group around her together, because she doesn't know if she wants the throne. She doesn't know if she wants to rule hell. And she wants to she just wants everyone to be good and for things to go back to the way they were before things got crazy. And it's really sort of this whole narrative that's unfolding, that's taken almost 5 years as we've played, is just this constant struggle of like, when you are handed like ultimate power, do you actually want it? And do you want everything that goes with it? Or do you just want to keep like hanging out with all your friends because they're really cool and you like them?
So what you've done is you've taken the plot of the Princess Diaries and then you made it D&D. Is there a makeover scene?
Yes, actually there has been. Holy shit. There's actually been a couple. Now that I'm thinking, oh shit. There is a moment where the character's name is Boop. Boop, that's not her real name. That was the name because she was left on the doorstep of a nunnery that was devoted to Selene. And the abbess, the headmistress of the nunnery, was held her, like picked her up off the steps, and Boop punched her in the nose. And so that was how she got her name Boop. But her actual name is something that is constantly, it's one of those things where like it was revealed and the person who plays Boop is just like, that's really my name. That's what my mom and dad named. I don't care. No, I'm sticking with Boop. And so that's sort of been their journey, is that's how they got their name. But they had this moment, this happened about a year ago, where they were in hell, in Kenya specifically, and they met with their uncle Mephistopheles, and Uncle Mephistopheles took them to his workshop, and he gave them a sword that was actually belonging to her mother. And it was something that he had been given to safeguard until she was, till it was time for her to take it. So there's been multiple makeovers. In terms of the other games, and going back to like the concept of found family, the survivors of Ashkelon, it's this story about three individuals who, very, very different individuals. You have Ivar the first he's Ivar the Banisher, and he's a paladin who is serving this god who he thinks this god is talking to him, and it's actually this evil nightmare spirit that's actually been guiding him the entire time. And then there's
my nightmare.
Nesca, who is this there's Nesca, this Yuan T monk, who is actually like this spy who's been spying on the human kingdom of Nimrion in attempts to like undermine it. And then there's Jal Horden, who is this warlock who is given this ring of power. He is very much Hal Jordan, just so we can just eliminate the joke. The player's favorite DC character is Hal Jordan, and so they just swapped some consonants around.
Yeah. As one does.
And they've been playing, but they all come together because Ashkelon, the city of Ashkelon, falls, and then they set sail and they sail across the sea, and the whole concept is very much found family, but also dealing with past trauma. That is very much a theme in the survivors. Not only the trauma of seeing an entire city wiped out, but dealing with maybe the reasons for why you were there to begin with. Then with Shadows is a theme where found family is very much like it is a theme, but it is all about chaos. Like, how much chaos can we possibly cause Andy to go through in a session? Because we have some progressively getting more and more powerful. These players are getting more and more powerful and more in tune with their characters. Mm-hmm. And they just do some absolutely insane shit. And the worst part about it is, no, the best part, worst part, is that it is totally like stuff that you can do in the rules. And I'm just like, I'm not necessarily a rule. I am a rule of cool DM. But it's like one of those things where it's like they like have planned it out and they're like, and I would like to do this. And if you look over here in the rules in this particular page on this section, you will see this is totally legal. And I'll just be like,
B, subclause 3.
Yeah. So it works. And they are constantly, they're my shenanigans crew. Mm-hmm. They're my shenanigans crew. They're the crew where I am always curious how the session will end, because I will write out a session and I'll have it planned and I'll be like, about 75% of this will never see the recording. And the best part is that 75% that doesn't get seen, it's totally fine. Because the 75% that actually gets added ends up being better than the thing that I wrote most of the time. And so it actually all works out. Then finally, I said crew earlier, but this is a reference that actually makes more sense when I reference this show, which is Our Flag Means Doom. If you think, oh wait, Our Flag Means Doom, that sounds suspiciously like Our Flag Means Death, Taika Waititi and that pirate show, Blackbeard, etc. R.I.P. Well, here's the thing. When I was planning out that show was still running. Yeah. And then we recorded Our Flag Means Doom. I think we got 2 episodes into it. We had recorded 2 episodes, and then suddenly it was canceled. Our Flag Means Death was canceled. And I was like, okay, well, I'm sure people will still get the reference. But I was kind of hoping to use it like for like search engine optimization, just be like, see the 2 maybe side by side in like a YouTube search and be like, Our Flag, I know I typed out Our Flag Means Death, but what is Our Flag Means Doom? That sounds very interesting, and it has some cool artwork on the front of it. And then people click on it by accident, and hopefully they don't hate it. That whole entire show is very much a pirate show. And it is also a show about found family and how these people initially, they don't really get along at all. You have characters like Pandora, Necromancer Extraordinaire, who is extremely just sort of very theatrical and kind of off-putting to everyone, because she's constantly being like, oh, well, if we killed them, I can always raise them from the dead, and forgetting like that is actually like looked down on and kind of seen as very odd. Raising people from the dead is always kind of weird.
Very uncouth.
Then there's Brash Briggs. What?
Very uncouth.
Uncouth? Yes. Yeah, don't do that. It scares people. Then there's Brash Briggs. He's the first mate of the ship, the Hair Trigger. The Hair Trigger is actually a joke because it is captained by a Harengon named
good.
Captain Blanche Foray, which is also a reference to the Golden Girls. She is Blanche. She is totally Blanche. But she is also a 2-foot tall bunny. And then finally there is Hatch, and Hatch is honestly, Hatch has got to be one of the coolest character concepts that I've ever come across. They are all cool. All of these characters are
But
incredible.
you have a favorite.
But Hatch, I don't actually have a
Papa
favorite.
has
but
a
I'll
favorite.
Have to say, Noctopus on TikTok and Instagram, he came up with this really cool character concept where his entire village is inside of a pocket dimension inside of a bag, and the whole village was sent there as a result of a curse that was placed on their town, the town of Bright Ray, by an archfey. And the town was promised 1,000 years of prosperity, but only if they could find a hero that could, stop them, stop the archfey. And nobody could. And so the archfey was just like, you're in a bag. And so Hatch is the first hero that is let go from the bag, and he is sent out from the bag in order to find other heroes to stop the archfey so that the curse can be removed. He encounters the crew of the Hair Trigger because the bag is in a massive hoard of pirates' booty that was on this one island and had just been sitting there for almost 60 years. And so when they opened the bag, suddenly Hatch comes tumbling out of it. Hatch is, for the longest time, up until about episode 10, he was consistently level 3. He could not level up. He was always level 3. Anybody else who came out of the bag would have been level 3. He died multiple times. And the whole, his Noctopus's entire concept was that I have a ton of characters that will pop out of this bag. They will all be level 3, and then it'll just be kind of a meat grinder. Like, you'll just see multiple people die, and you will never get close to them. The problem is that you made the first one so damn charming, so nobody ever wanted him to die. And so they would do anything. They would go out of their way to bring Hatch back, no matter what. And so there would be moments where he would die, and he would suddenly reappear within the bag for a brief moment, and he's sort of looking over the village, like from a hilltop, and then suddenly, and he would be pulled out of the bag and be brought back. That all happened. That all changed in episode 10 because of his character arc. They finally confronted the Archfey, and through no small amount of shenanigans, they didn't actually directly confront the Archfey, but they made them. They basically guilt tripped them into saying, "Hey, look at all the people that you've hurt. Look at these people. They've been stuck inside this bag, and they're good people. Why would you do this?" And the Archfey has also been going through a lot in their own personal lives, and they really have started to see the error of their ways and doing a lot of these things. And so they're caught in a very vulnerable moment. And so they basically determined that the best way for Bright Ray to return is for them to take its place. And so the Archfey remains in the bag, and Bright Ray is returned back to its original location along the coast of Nimrion. And Hatch can, at this point, suddenly become level 9. And so he gets to be
was leveling up while he was Hatch was
everybody
3?
else was leveling up. He remained at level 3 for the duration up until that point, and then suddenly he became level 9. It was there was so many fantastic character moments that it was, as a DM, it was kind of me just sort of looking at it and being like, I am rewarding you now. This character that you've created is incredibly charming. I know your original intent was, I am going to somehow play all of these different characters. But honestly, Hatch, this dragonborn blood hunter, who occasionally transforms into a very scaly-looking werewolf, is honestly an incredibly charming character with so much humor, and he's also a really good fighter as well. So I was just like, here you get to be level 9 now, and you can level up like you normally would with all the other players. And you don't have to die, hopefully, as often. So yeah, that in a nutshell. That's all my games. They're all surrounding this sort of central theme of like found family. They all approach it from different ways, but I feel like there is something that is very organic about D&D, about TTRPGs in general, but the concept of found family is just like, it's a natural progression. You're all like, unless you're actually playing with family members, you're sitting down at a table with complete strangers or friends, and you are agreeing to, you are sort of like contracting with each other to play this story out. And you are finding, unless you have those problem players at your table who are like extremely antisocial and they're just like, I hate everyone, I'm this dark, mysterious dude. And I think Brennan Lee Mulligan actually does a really good interpretation of that problem player at the D&D parties table. He's like, I have my level 5 katana, and I'm just like of soul reaping, and oh, you want me to tell a story? Oh, whatever, dude. But he created this this hilarious monologue for it, but it's actually like very true. You're all coming together, you're going through an incredible story together, and you're doing it with a found family. And so, yeah, I think if there was anything else, like any other themes or any other lessons or like things that were to be gained from like our Flag Means Doom, it would probably be that with great power comes great responsibility. It's just to, which is something I totally came up with.
Yeah, it definitely feels like you brought that to the table yourself. I've never heard that before. That's remarkable, Andy. You're amazing.
That's truly an Andy
Andy original.
Yeah.
An Andy original. Yeah.
Like a Werther's original,
Honestly, I love Werther's.
I love Werther's originals.
I do not like caramel.
What is wrong with
you?
you?
Why don't you like life?
I don't like cinnamon either. We don't have to dissect this now. I wanted to let you know. I'm not.
I mean, we can either dissect this or we can dissect Andy's need to find a family.
Well, Andy has a family.
I do have a family.
I mean, you made your own family, but also always looking for a family.
Yes, it is. Not to like lie down on the couch.
No,
here
please.
For a second, but
couch is open.
I feel like.
Not you, Adrian. It's Andy's turn.
I was trying.
I feel like for me, it was very much something that came out of the pandemic. Going from not being able to see people in person, or going from seeing people in person to not seeing them at all in person, face to face. And that went for friends and family. And so with the people that I played with online, and up until recently just online, it was a chance. It was a chance to create these very meaningful, very just dense relationships that were both story character driven, but were also just like very much like us from week to week, meeting, having good friend time, and just sort of talking about things and processing things both in game and out of game. Yeah. I mean, with my home game, I mean, we were playing during the pandemic, during the height of the pandemic, and we played through everything that resulted from not to get too heavy or anything, but like
You're at the right
everything
place.
resulting from George Floyd. And I have, no, actually, except for myself and one other guy, every single member of the people in that game are all people of color. And they all were processing all of that in different ways. And so I'm not patting myself on the back here at all. But for me, it was incredibly valuable just to be able to create a safe space for them, a place where they felt comfortable just venting and being themselves, and also slaying dragons every week or every 2 weeks. Because you don't get to necessarily slay the real dragons in the real world with as much frequency. So, so yeah, that was that was good. I don't know any other way to say that, but my one regret is there were members who were actually thinking about coming to GenCon and then they couldn't at the last second. And I was like, damn, I really wish that everyone who I was staying with could have met some of them, because they're really, really terrific people.
I was lucky enough to meet some of your players.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, of the home game in particular. Like, Aisha, Lindsay, Moose, and Mike, they're really good people.
Moose? Does Moose have a... Does he have like very deep voice?
Oh, his real name is Kevin.
Okay.
His real name is Kevin. His last name is Guadamus. And his family's from Nicaragua. And we worked together at Redfin. And he was working at, I believe it was, the reason for this was he was working in a department that already had a Kevin. And so people were constantly on Slack getting them mixed up, and were constantly sending like Slack messages to the wrong Kevin.
Yeah.
And so he changed his name to just be like, okay, what's a name that I can easily come up with from Kevin Guadamus? And it ended up being Moose. So he came up with Moose, and then we just started calling him Moose, and that has not stopped. In fact, the same situation. So he actually left Redfin, and then he went to go work at Epic Games. The video game company that does Valorant and all that, League of Legends. That name followed him because he went into another department that also had a Kevin and a Kev. And so he was just like, you know what? This is probably going to keep going. So I'm just going to, you can call me Moose. It's totally fine.
I'm used to
I like
it.
that Moose came out of not like sports or like a college. It's not like a college story. It's just like Moose. That's what happened.
No. Yeah. He's an esports nerd. He's he actually just led this big esports thing for Epic Games, which was all about Valorant, and he had a fun time. But he's based out of LA, and I have never been able to see him in person. That's not true. I have, but it was at a Redfin thing. And I've been trying to find a way, sort of like the stars aligning for all of us to come and meet, because 3 of them, Aisha, Lindsay, and Mike, they all live in Chicago area, and he lives in LA. And so I really want to find a way for all of us to sort of come together and meet up and game and do maybe a session together.
Chicago. That's always the dream of just like going to like a cabin for a weekend and just play with your friends.
Oh my God.
Commune,
Yes.
commune.
Oh, going like, honestly, here's my idea. We find a really nice like lakeside Airbnb up in Upper Peninsula, Michigan. I say that because the UP, while it is gorgeous, tends to be pretty cheap and affordable. So people have these sort of like gorgeous Lake Michigan houses that end up, going on Airbnb, or at least they used to, for, a decently low price. You get a bunch of people into that one house and then just, nerd out for a long weekend. But that's the dream.
Yes.
That's the dream. That would be something I would love to do.
Why are you doing that?
Retreat.
Retreat.
Retreat. If that's what we have to call it, fine. It's a commune, though.
No, commune's
that it's a
fine.
commune.
But, like, we don't own the commune, so I think a retreat's more, like, I don't know. We
Look,
just start building. We just
Adrian,
go out there
we just
on the lakeside and start building a house.
yes, and we just create, like, a Dungeons and Degrees, like, TTRPG retreat.
Campsite. Yeah. Just buy up a huge acreage in Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Yeah, with all our Texas oil bucks. I'm just kidding. We don't got none of that.
Listen, you have 3 friends. You invite our 3 friends. Those 3 friends then have 3 friends. And then we'll invite those 3 friends.
It's like a timeshare.
Yeah, it's like a timeshare. Also a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, but for D&D or for TTRPGs. So really,
Yes.
I mean, okay, so here's the thing. Your money could go to D&D Beyond.
Oh, no.
Or, hear me out, we take all the money that we would be giving to Wizards of the Coast and we fund a timeshare that we own, mutually owned.
I love it.
Adrian, why are you giggling? Okay, like a little hotel. Like, listen, we could have a little,
like a little hotel, like a nice bed and breakfast.
Just like an 8, yeah, just an 8-room,
B&B,
like,
you know?
motel moment. A D&D B&B? Do you think Wizards of the Coast would be mad
Oh
about?
my god.
Stop.
I'm trying to see if we can put
D&D,
more letters
D&B.
because that'd be so cool. Like we have this long name, but in the end, it's like CNC B&B D&D
I
or
say
something
what
like.
we do is we find like an abandoned prison, and then we
Ghosts!
and we transform it into a vacation spot for nerds, and then we call it. We could just have it actually be in a dungeon.
Yeah.
Um,
Them's the ideas, folks.
Yeah, we just gotta.
My
just
brain
gotta-
went somewhere that just not
I don't
appropriate.
like where your brain goes when you go there. It's somewhere not appropriate. Exactly.
I'm right there with you now. I got it.
Oh no, I'm so confused.
That man lives on the internet.
No, you're not. Batman? What?
That man lives on the internet. You live on the internet. Andy.
Do you say
No,
Batman?
I said that.
No, that man.
That. T.
Oh, that man. As
You
in.
man.
Oh, okay, yes. It was like.
Okay.
Also, he lives in our hearts. It's Bruce Wayne.
But which Bruce Wayne? Which one pops up?
Animated.
Okay, good.
Every single time.
Animated.
The early 2000s Batman, but not Batman Beyond, the other one.
Oh, what's his name? It's Mark Hamill's the Joker, but what's the guy? Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy's Batman.
That's Batman.
Oh, that is okay. Sorry.
Go
Brief
ahead, go. This
No.
is the
tangent.
pod for it.
Okay, so Kevin Conroy's Batman. Slay all day. Love that. He is
Yes.
Batman. But he is not the Batman for my favorite all-time scene of Batman.
Oh.
My favorite Batman scene of all time is hold on, I want to get this right.
That's fair. We had someone that got it wrong and it was embarrassing. Not just kidding.
Yes. It is Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. And oh god, I forgot it. This is weird. Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. Batman is voiced by, and I am sorry, Internet, Batman is voiced by William Baldwin, the brother of Alec Baldwin. And there is a moment, so it's like two Earths, two split, realities. Batman goes toe-to-toe with Owlman, who is voiced by another person that I really don't like, James Woods. They go toe-to-toe, and they're fighting in this alternate timeline separate from the two Earths. They fight on this ultimate alternate space, alternate Earth. And they're fighting on the steps of this doomsday device that Owlman has created. And Owlman is beating the shit out of Batman and just basically saying, like, we probably, we're probably very much alike, the two of us. We both had tragic childhoods, but somewhere our paths diverged, and you became this, like, sort of this dark hero, and I'm this dark villain. And, ultimately it all doesn't matter because you're going to die here. And Batman, William Baldwin's Batman. It's so weird because I don't like William Baldwin. I don't really like Alec Baldwin terribly that much, but like he's voicing Batman in this moment, and he has like the best line. It's like cold. It is so cold what he says to Owlman. He says, you're probably right. There probably isn't that much difference between you and me. We both looked into the abyss, but when it looked back at us, you blinked. And it was like, and then he like sends Owlman to another completely deserted thing, like Earth, with the doomsday device continuing to tick down. And Owlman gets left in this other space with the doomsday device as it goes down to 0. And he's like, doesn't matter. And then he blows up. And it's just like, that has got to be the coldest Batman line. And I don't think I've ever seen it with Kevin. I think I've seen a cold Batman line like that with Kevin Conroy. And yeah. I just am having a hard time knowing that that's William Baldwin. I can't. It is. It's weird.
I mean, it's not his fault that he is the lesser of the Baldwins.
No, it's not. It's just surprising. I was just like, was that
anybody. Baldwin in Hairspray? The range.
Stop.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Oh.
I don't know what Batman is in my head when I think Batman. Is it the lack of Batman that is the concerning part? Because then I just think of the Joker. Like, then I just have Heath Ledger in my brain.
Well, yeah.
It's like, is there something wrong with me?
No.
What?
No, I mean, because here's the thing. I feel like normally Batman is always less interesting than his villains. His villains are always more interesting than Batman. There are only certain issues, like there are certain times in the comics where I've found that Batman is actually the more interesting one. And I think that's usually surrounding like the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
Like whenever he's gone up against the Court of Owls, like that Batman was very interesting. And how he sort of like rises above the challenges with that. But usually, yeah, Batman is always less interesting than his villains are. And I mean, you get that with the Joker, you get that with Two-Face, you get that with Penguin, like so many.
Yeah.
Like Ra's al Ghul, his coterie of villains is truly second to none, I think.
There's a audio drama on Spotify called Harley Quinn and the Joker, Sound Mine, and Christina Ricci does the sound of Dr. Quinzel because it's before like she turns. It's incredible. Yep. It's so good, and like just sexy in all the right ways, but then not, and it's very good. But yeah, and then I also love Christina Ricci, so I'll listen to her talk to me out all day. She could step on my face and I'd be fine.
You heard it here first, Internet.
Listen.
How can we make this
fucking
happen?
Penelope? Easy. Give me Penelope.
I will say, I do love how like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy has like sort of taken the internet by storm and become like this amazing like lesbian romance
Hell yeah.
that is also just a good friendship as well.
Yeah.
Like it starts off like very much a good friendship, even though they're totally villains. But it's sort of like how they, like through the process of becoming good friends with each other and developing into the like this, you know, friends to lovers, they've also come to terms with their own villainy, and like they're trying to be the better versions of themselves, even though they're still technically villains. Yeah, no, I'm. That whole animated series is also very good.
Yeah. I'm very much a Harley Quinn girly.
What?
Surprise to nobody.
What? You crazy.
Did you...
That's crazy.
Wait, okay, you are joking, right? Right? You're joking.
Yes, I'm crazy. Yes, I'm joking.
Okay,
of
I
course.
was just making sure. I don't think we've ever brought that up. I think this is a new lore drop for the dear listener, but
Yeah, but like, it's not a surprise.
I appreciate
is all I'm
that the
saying.
basic answer is not a surprise.
Well, I'm just saying, with someone who dyes their hair so much. No, I'm just kidding.
First of all,
That was the immediate tip off for me too.
The 2-finger salute.
I appreciate y'all so much. You are the best. You are so nice to me. Thank you.
Oh my god,
Oh my
you're
God,
welcome.
you're
so
nice.
You know what? You're heard. I see you.
I
I respect you.
listen.
Crab hands. Oh no, she's dying. Okay, now this became a anti-feminist podcast now. No, I'm just kidding. As soon as the woman leaves the room, hey, what up, boys? No, I'm just kidding. I hate that. You good? You back?
I'm
no,
great.
You're still recovering.
I'm great. I'm doing so good. My network is struggling. I'm struggling. We're all struggling.
It's like same here, network. Same here.
The network is really seeing me right now.
There we go.
No, this cough from before GenCon is really not going down without a fight.
Have you checked if it's
Okay, you should get checked out
For
because
pneumonia.
I was told that I have bronchitis.
I mean, yeah, but what am I gonna do with it?
Well, if you have bronchitis, then you can do a lot with it. You can actually like get good medicines, and if you're not on an inhaler, they can put you on an inhaler. They can also give you special things for like humidifiers to make sure that you're keeping your lungs nice and moist and like
Check.
you know breathing correctly. There's also flucodazine.
Oh yeah, I have that too. Yeah, yeah.
It's like this like nasal spray.
Oh, you already used that?
Yeah. No. Listen. As a semi-chronically ill girly, or at least a former chronically ill girly,
Not so slay.
yeah. I have everything. I take the hot showers. I sit over the steam. I have one of the Vicks Vapor things. I also put Vicks Vapor Rub on my feet, right? Like we pull in any and all.
Hold on one second, guys.
No, you're fine.
He's got the kids. Alright, by the way, Andy is so great.
And young and lovely.
A
He's
wonderful
so
human
nice.
being. Yeah.
I adore
Was-
him.
was-
He took
was the
pictures with us
dad
every
on-
morning.
I know. It was so cute, and we forgot one day, but it's okay. We got
But we
most
got
of
it.
but
He's amazing.
yeah. I wish that the other picture. I'm in the moment. I think when I was taking pictures, I just did not want to. I was like, we gotta go. I was too stressed.
Yeah.
But I saw all of their pictures, and I'm like, fuck, that looks cool.
We should have taken more pictures. You know what? Next, I think we have increased pictures every time. So, at PAXU, we'll be taking all the pictures.
Of course.
Oh, you guys are planning on going to PAXU too?
Yeah. Are you going to PAXU?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
I will be there. Right now, I'm currently trying to suss out a panel situation. I'm trying to come up with this. Basically, the whole idea behind this panel that I'm working on with another creator. You guys, Cyberpunk Monk. Have you ever heard of him?
Ooh, Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked with him.
He and I were trying to come up with this panel idea that we might actually be on. We might just introduce the panel and just be like, hey, you cool creators, you talk. But we could be on it. We're seeing who can be a part of it right now. But it's sort of it is a panel that is talking about the need for a better classification to exist for actual plays.
Okay.
Because there are actual plays that are, like, think about it like film, right? So you have student films. You have your low budget indies. You have your high budget indies. You have your sort of blockbuster, movies, summer movies. And then you have your trilogy epics. These massive Marvel MCU universe extravaganzas. All of those are different. Does that mean that some of them, or does that mean that one is less than the other? No.
Right.
Because there is an understanding this was a student film. We didn't necessarily have the budget of Disney, but we made this, and we made a very good story with the budget of a student film. And it's sort of the understanding that goes into that these stories are just as valid as Critical Role, as Dimension 20, as Legends of Evantris, as just all of these different big names now. The only difference is that some of them have the resources to become that thing.
Right.
And let's be real. Sometimes those big budgets, they don't do you any favors. I love Critical Role, but I would say that if you were to grade the seasons or the seasons of Critical Role, you have Campaign 1 as probably, actually, you know what? Campaign 2, I always flip-flop on this, but Campaign 2, I think, has like a special place in my heart. I'll put them at number 1. Campaign 1, close second, but just getting eked out by Campaign 2. And then there's Campaign 3. Campaign 3, I feel there has been either it has sort of been a cluster of a lot of different issues. Campaign 3 came to us during a time when there was this massive surge of D&D lovers, a massive surge of actual plays, and then suddenly there were a lot more people in the space, and suddenly eyes were being diverted into all these different directions, and they weren't necessarily looking at Campaign 3 anymore. Then you also have to take into account like Critical Role's change and how they, produced. They were no longer producing on Twitch live. They were suddenly doing pre-records, which changes how the audience engages with it.
Yeah.
And so that sort of change also changes your fan base as well. So yeah, all of that illustrates my point, which is that we need a better classification for the types of actual plays that exist out there. Also, the difference between pre-records and lives. People who do things on Twitch or YouTube Live, and people who record everything on Zoom and do what I do, which is then you go into an editing software suite and you edit everything down to cut for time, add additional music, add additional sound effects. You put everything out there, and that's how you do it. I personally will probably in the next couple months be making a big move over to Twitch, and I will start on Twitch and then I will put it on YouTube as a edited piece of material. And the way I think about it is that it just gets parsed and cut down progressively, because you broadcast live on Twitch, you get the community engagement there, then you edit for time, add all these cool effects, and so that it's kind of a different product maybe a little bit shorter. Then you put it up on YouTube. You upload it to YouTube. Then you cut that, and you cut it and put it in on social media, all the different places, clip it, etc., and put it there. And that way it's so you go from like an entree to something that is bite-sized, hors d'oeuvres, digestible over like a period.
Right.
And that's how you approach your actual play. But again, not everybody does that. And so there needs to be better like distinctions and also better support for people who are trying to get into the space, trying to do this actual play, trying to approach and tell these stories, while also not trying to kill themselves by trying to be Critical Role in Dimension 20.
You mean being regular humans with like regular human paying jobs?
Yes. Like, here's the thing. Like, I've accepted the fact that I do not have a full studio. And I do not have... All I have is myself, my silly voices, and this I don't know, it sounds ridiculous and idealistic, but this passion for telling stories that I... And just wanting to tell them with a lot of other people. Yeah. That's all I got. And I feel like that's... okay. Mm-hmm. I have no desire necessarily to be Dimension 20 or Critical Role. I would like to play with those people eventually one day, but not on anything that is like as crazy as what they do already.
Right.
Not by that, I don't mean that they're insane. I just mean that the scale of what they do it at.
I totally understand that. I mean, I want to ask you, why are you finding other people? I mean, what is making you saying, I want to be the host instead of I want to be presenting to this panel? Like, why?
Because I know that there are people who are better moderators, and it's kind of what they do already. Zach and I had the idea, but both of us kind of agreed that unless somebody else doesn't come along, well, if we were both agreed that maybe we weren't the best moderators for it.
Okay.
People would respond to somebody who was a more of a known face moderator. People who had both the experience in TTRPGs, but also perhaps an academic, somebody who was, their skill set was entirely in journalism, and sort of they could approach it from there. Because so there's sort of like a credential, there's sort of a seriousness that comes.
I'm sorry, are you not a professional in this field? Are you not also participating in this field?
Oh, no.
I think no.
I'm totally that.
Because you were justifying.
But I'm not a moderator. I am not somebody who moderates panels necessarily, but I do want to see people speak.
Who knows how to moderate panels anyways? I'm getting really loud, I'm sorry.
People who do it consistently and who have done it for many, many years.
Have you been I've been to more panels with like people who have like actors and big names, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Fuck that standard, Andy. I am so respectfully. You know what you were talking about.
I really do.
You are, but you do, and you haven't. Like, who needs a moderator? Like, just like 4 dudes. And maybe it's because Adrian and I just get up there and we're like, hey, we're just gonna fucking talk.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, we're just gonna.
Also, we're like, okay, now give us questions now. we're just harassing our fucking. We're harassing people, just like, all right, you look like you want to know something.
Well, that's the hope, is that we have, because I feel like there is, like, this is a question that is definitely being asked. It's just not being asked in a panel setting yet. And when you have sort of the audience of people at PAXU, it's a great place to ask the question and to hear a variety of different answers. So we're looking for people who are running shows right now in a variety of spaces. So we're looking at, people who have the studio, but also people who are just a podcast. Some people who are just a personality who are running things on Twitch. It's also very important that we have people who fit those qualifications, but who are we're also making sure that we want like good representation And that is something that is I'm not going to say it's not an obstacle, but it requires extra work. And because you want to do it right, and you don't want to just put a bunch of white faces on a stage. And that is something that we are very intentional about not doing. Because we want people to realize and recognize that, they belong here, and it's not just a bunch of white people sitting at their computers. So.
No, that part is valid. That part. But the part where you sound like you have to have some sort of idealized professional who's moderated panels. Fuck that. Like, that's... You've been there. You've seen them. Like, I just...
No. I have. But for me, one person... Just to give an example. One person that we would have, thrown the name around a little bit is the person... I'm trying to remember her name.
How dare you?
The person who broke the story about the OGL controversy for D&D.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember her name. Oh, what?
OGL controversy. Woman.
Stop.
Name?
Lynn Kodega.
Question mark.
Lynn Kodega. She is the journalist who broke the D&D OGL news. So
that'd be great.
That's been a name that we've talked about.
Just shoot an email, just real quick.
Just
hey.
Yeah, what you doing right now? What you doing?
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
hey.
You up to moderate a panel?
Hey, what's up? I know you don't know me, but
Also, probably, yeah. But also, I feel like that kind of, just sorry, this is a slight topic change. I feel like that is actually not a bad way of getting things to happen nowadays. Just being like, hey, we exist in the same space. I know you don't know me. You probably have never seen any of the things that I do. I think you're cool. Do you want to work together sometime? Do you want to do a game? Do you want to play on a one-shot? Do you want to do this thing that we all love? Anything keeping you from doing that is just dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb to perseverate over. Oh, I don't know if they're gonna like me. They've never liked any of my TikTok videos. That's dumb. Just send the message. Send the message.
Oh,
I think that is sort of the main lesson from this is that everybody has stories to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's story is valid. We all steal from each other.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your story needs to be told because you're the only one who can tell it. And there shouldn't be anything keeping you from doing that. Just do it.
just fucking do it.
I think the only thing that is slightly difficult. The only thing that is slightly difficult. And for this, there's really nothing that you can do to change this in the internet world that we live in, is you're fighting against an algorithm. Is how does your story find its audience? That's the key thing. Do you find it through Twitch? Do you pre-record it? Do you just make it a podcast and throw it up on Spotify or wherever? Where do you put it? And if you can figure out that question, you should be good. But put it out there, please. Just do that. You're gonna do us all a favor by doing it. So right. Yeah, don't be afraid.
Hell yeah. I think that's where we ended.
That's
good. That's fucking
Andy,
golden.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
I am Mr.DandyDM on all the socials except for Twitch, where there is not a period between the Mr. and the DandyDM. It is all one beautiful word, which is not a word. Gotcha. But yes, I am Mr.DandyDM everywhere. I run, at this point, 4 different games currently, 3 of which are published, and you can find them on YouTube. That is Our Flag Means Doom, Survivors of Ashkelon, and Shadows of Ashkelon. I am also on a lot of other people's channels running games. I will be with Boss Jellybean doing this amazing game, Salvage Union, which is this really cool post-apocalyptic mech game. She's probably going to completely TPK all of us with a kaiju.
Hell yeah.
That'll be fun. I'm in a lot of different Candela Obscura Daggerheart games that are coming up. But yeah, that's me. That's where you can find me. And I will probably see, well, I know I'll see these two, but I'll probably see all of you at PAXU.
Yeah.
So, hooray.
Yeah.
Hurrah.
Thank you, dear listener, for
Hurrah.
joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us wherever pods are passed. Please rate, subscribe, send to your friends, enemies, lovers, enemies to lovers, lovers to enemies, whatever. Just send them this podcast.
Definitely send it to all those enemies.
If you hate us, send us to the enemies. If you love us, send us to your lovers. Easy. You can also find us on the thing where they give you money, Patreon. Thank you. With the thing. You can find us on Patreon. You can find us on all social medias at Dungeon and Degrees. And if you like what you see, then, just slide in those DMs and let us know your hot take. And we'll discuss your fucking hot take. Yeah, that's it. It's the whole thing.
I love how Adrian is reflected in my watch right now.
That's so handsome.
Here, I'll just send this picture to you so you can just have that.
It's like Adrian is my background for my watch.
Stop.
That's funny.
It's so cute. I have it forever.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian. I forgot to tell Andy.
And I'm Alex.
To say, sign out with us. Andy,
Wait,
sign
what
out.
What am I doing?
Just, yeah. Andy, we started so fast. Just say your name after all our names, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. My name's Adrian.
My name is Andy.
And I'm still Alex.
Did it?
Go have some fun.
You're still Alex.